All right, good deal.
Just remember Wayne's World.
Yeah. I think you should keep that in there. I choked on that one. I would highly suggest that you keep that question in. Just have it start like that, and then go into the edit it into the interview.
I
or something.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Those are the things that fit people watching it. What are they going to say next? All
right.
So I want to welcome everyone to our Friday session with Jay and Doug, and I got a special friend here. His name is Trey. This is Trey Vernon. Trey and I met because Trey coaches middle school football for the Dyersburg Trojans. And in spite of that, we are still friends. And in spite of that, we are actually closer than friends. We've become brothers, and we've prayed together. We've discussed God together and our vision for young people to know who He is through our ministry of coaching. And so through all of that, I also learned another extension of ministry that you've been led to do. So I'm just going to let Trey talk just for a few minutes, and then we'll get into that. So Trey, this is Alamo First Christian Church, and they are just excited to hear what you have to say.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. And I am a native of Friendship, Tennessee, so I've got some good blood in me. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But it's a pleasure to be here. These are great guys. Yeah, you guys have great leaders, and so a little bit about Coach's Place. It's a vision that was birthed in our heart a long time ago, which is funny because we're 30, so a long time ago we were 15.
Right.
And I just kind of always knew that I wanted a big family. And I started dating my girlfriend that was later my wife, and Heather Vernon's my wife. And we started dating when we were 15, and I just looked at her and I said, after a couple of years, kind of got serious, and I said, I think I want 11 kids. And she said, I think you're marrying the wrong person. And Heather always keeps me grounded. Right. And so I thought that was odd that would be something that was tucked into my heart. And I always wanted to live on a farm. And then I became obsessed with tiny homes. And Heather was like, I said, at the time we were living in a 1,000 square foot rental. And I kept talking about them all the time. I was watching YouTube videos. She said, Trey, this is a tiny home. We're not going any smaller. And I was like, that's really odd that I would have all these desires. Where are they coming from? Well, we found out down the road that the vision to live on a farm and to have all the kids was Coach's Place. Because we're not a residential group care or anything funny like that. We are homes for kids that need a home. That's the easiest, and the way that I feel is the best way to say it, because we don't want any stigmas. We are just families with kids that did not have a fair shake at a family. Yeah. And I think that is the heart of our Father in heaven, that if Jesus was here, I believe He would be doing the same thing that we're doing. Absolutely. And so we're really passionate about it. It is not an easy road. We know that there are a lot of challenges. From being a school teacher, that there are good days and there are bad days, and we're very aware of those and still excited about where the Lord has called us. Yeah. And so we have property, on 412 Highway 4. Our address is 13250 Highway 412. Yeah. And we've got
from Farmer's Daughter too.
Yeah, right down from Farmer's Daughter. They have a big nice building right there. And we have 42 acres that is all dedicated to homes. And we actually were just approved to even have tiny homes for our guys as they age out, that they can have a part of independence. So that's where the crazy stories about the tiny homes, where our guys, if they want to have independence and go to community college, or work on the farm. A lot of guys through coaching, when we get done coaching, want to come back and help. Yeah. They enjoyed it and they want to come back. Yeah. And so our heart would be that I enjoyed Coach's Place and I want to come back and help. Yeah. And so that's kind of a way to give us a system to do that.
So I'm going to try to drop the blueprint that you sent me of what it's going to look like. But you've driven to Dyersburg, I'm sure, in the last 6 months, if you're watching this, and off to the right after where the Farmer's Daughter has a beautiful building, and there is a ton of land, and you'll see the sign that says Coach's Place. And I want you just to see that, and then compare that to the blueprint that I'm going to put on there. So with that, you've got one building up. And I saw you out there the other day. I didn't want to bother, but I saw a bobcat run around. I'm like, I don't need to get in the middle of that right now. But y'all been doing a lot of work. So what work is coming up? What's the next steps?
The next step, we're going to pull the permit for the first home.
Wow.
Like so that is our, we're finishing that building and we're moving on to the next. And we're really passionate about how can we get kids on the land. I think that's the big thing in our heart right now.
Yeah. What's
going up right now is great and it's wonderful, and we're still, volunteers, all that great things. But in our hearts, me and Heather we're thinking, how do we get kids? Because Coach's Place is just a farm without kids.
Yeah. And
if we're not helping, then we're behind.
Well, what's a way for a church to get plugged in? You guys are on the front end of this, and you're developing it, and obviously some things are beginning to happen on the land. But what's a way for a church like First Christian that's rooted in Crockett County? And I know that you're drawing from people from lots of different counties. You were sharing earlier, it's not just Crockett or Dyer County, but it's lots of different counties are getting involved. What's a way for our church to come alongside what you're doing? Because I think our church has a big heart for children, for kids, for youth, and really for the kinds of things that you're doing.
So the number one way, and people always say this, and they have in mind what I'm going to say, is prayer.
Right. Yeah.
Because typically people say, well, financially, can you... Prayer. The warfare surrounding this project is tremendous.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm not joking. It's like every time that we have this big breakthrough moment, it's like the next time we stub our toe on something and we're like, okay, Lord, center us back because we can't be distracted. And so I would like for everybody that's watching, if you would write my name and Coach's Place and my family's name next to it and stick it on your refrigerator in the biggest bold print that you can live with. And just,
so that would be Trey Vernon,
yes.
Heather Vernon, who is right alongside, and then Meshach, who man, like I got to eat dinner with him tonight. Anyway, so lift them up. So that's good. So
that's like the number one way. But then kind of the number two way, there are people that want to donate financially.
Yeah.
There are people that I don't know if it's called like goodwill gifts or something like that, where they come out and maybe you're good at something. Maybe you are a framer, maybe you're a plumber, maybe you have some skilled trade that, because I'm a coach, I don't have a lot of money to offer. It's just not in the cards. But what I offered to my community for all this time was my time and my love for kids and pouring in and discipling and doing the things that God has given me. So I think if you look around your church, there are going to be financial contributors and they're necessary. And there are going to be people who give their skills, like when they built the temple in the Old Testament. The Lord called, hey, send me the skilled folks. He handpicked them. Yeah. And so that's those guys that we're talking about. But then there's also people like me, general laborers. Like, hey man, I'm not good at anything, but I just want to help. There's always something.
I can swing a hammer.
I can swing a hammer. I can bush hog.
I can dig a hole.
I can dig a hole.
Right.
Those projects are all going to be coming along, and like last weekend we were even working over at the multi-purpose building, getting some things done there, and just needed general laborers and things of that nature. But now we're ready for electrician and doing some of those things.
So your vision for this isn't that necessarily going to be like, it's not going to be a ranch or a boys ranch or something like that. It's going to be more families coming in.
Oh yeah.
You're going to have homes for families. Speak more to that and kind of like what your vision is for that.
You're coming from a hard situation anyway. The last thing you want is another label, is another stigma, is another something for a kid to have on you to be able to pick on you and so, we thought, what? We don't want to be that. And I'm not saying that's bad for any that are homes. That's not at all, because there are wonderful people who are doing this but we, in our heart, we just wanted to be a home. We just wanted to be mom and dad and have kids. We wanted to be just as normal as possible in a situation that's traumatic. And we like the group feel, or like the home feel as well, because if we go out to eat together at McDonald's, that's fun and that's cool, or wherever we're going to go. But if I invite you into my home, it's a lot more personal, it's more relational. And so that's the background. We want to offer our kids, like, I'm going to give you a piece of my heart. Like, I'm not going to, you're going to get the real us. We're not perfect. We're not glamorous. We don't I comb my hair every day. I put my shoes on the same way. There's not but you're going to get us.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to offer that to our kids, that, it's not like and I guess another way to say it would be like our homes are built with enough space for our kids too.
Uh-huh.
Like everybody will have, adequate space. We wouldn't want to put a kid in a home that we felt was cramped or anything like that. Everybody's got room to run, and hopefully not color on the walls too much, but I know how that goes.
So I in the picture you're going to see that I'm going to put up, you're going to see a spot for gardening, a place for a horse ranch.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some work aspects that you're going to be instilling in these young people and teaching them how to work. So talk on that, what your vision is there.
So the vision for Coach's Place in our work program is originally, and it still may happen, I change my mind, and the Lord, talks. Sometimes I listen, sometimes he has to knock me over the head, but we really wanted our guys to be exposed to all that, to work. And we were I had this vision of a big garage with 5 bays in it. One would be a carpentry bay, one would be an automotive bay, one would be a welding bay, one would be a plumbing bay, and one would be for another trade that could be worked in. Because we wanted to expose our kids to all, because they're not in our public school system as much as they were.
Right.
And we thought, man, if we had this awesome shop, then guys from the community could come in that wanted to partner with us, because maybe they can't get their money, but maybe they know how to frame.
Right.
And so we could start teaching our guys how to do it young.
Yep.
And so another thought that we had, that's why I said we're kind of in the middle, is that maybe our guys could be not outsourced, but could go like work shadowing around. Maybe there's somebody that owns a welding shop like O'Neill Trailers, or maybe they've got somebody that we could partner with and say, hey man, we've got these guys and they're rough, but they don't know a whole lot, but can we work with them? Can we give them skills that can pay the bills later?
Yep.
And another part of what we have, so you talked about the horse barn and things of that nature. My wife Heather loves animals. And so when we thought about, and the horses are her favorite, and dogs are her number 2 favorite, it just so happens. But she is a social worker and has a social work background, and we really want to be able to take our animals and make them therapeutic.
Yeah.
So we won't have, we're a level 1 facility, so it's not behavior or anything like that, but we could raise therapy dogs, we could raise therapy horses, and the kids work in them or work around them. And there's so many, and coming from Crockett County and Dyer County, this is like a rural agriculture area anyway, the value of getting out and taking care of your animals and taking care of the yard and doing those things that instill good values, good work ethic for the future. So I don't think it's ever hurt anybody to have to work in the horse barn. I think a lot of good lessons can be learned around that area.
With a shovel.
With a shovel and all that.
So I love the location, and from an aspect of driving back and forth by there every day. I told Trey this the other day, when I'm thinking godly like I should be all the time, but I don't, right? We're always kind of thinking about the next thing, but when I drive by, I pray over that place. But there are places where we can plug in as a church, and we can begin to invest in what God's leading us to do. So I encourage you, if that's something that's starting to tickle your ear, don't deny that, because Trey did not, and I love the story that you're telling it. And I read this story in the Old Testament a long time ago. It's about a guy named Nehemiah, and Nehemiah was told no by everybody. He was told no in a way that threatened his life. And Nehemiah 6:3 says, the men came to him and they needed to bring him down off the wall. And Nehemiah knew their intention, but instead of being worried about fighting back, he just simply said, I'm building a great wall, and I cannot come down from here because God's called me to do something. And I see that in this ministry, and throughout the creativity and all those things is not something that is man-made. That is something that's definitely God-fed, and we need that in our community. I work in discipline at the school, and I see that it's not the kids just being bad, but it's environments that they need or have been removed from, and there's not that stability. And so that's something that is a need in Crockett County, and it's a need in Dyer County, as I have linked up with you and others. And so that is something that if you're watching this, you're like, oh, that's a good thing. This is a need. This is something that in our community it's necessary. And I think it's beautiful that it leaches in a little bit into Crockett County. I think.
Well, I actually have a segue for that, which is crazy because being from Friendship, I knew that I was supposed to be a father to many a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I just thought I would go do it in China or, I was like thinking of all these foreign countries and missions and orphanages, and to come right back around where I'm from was almost hysterical. It was like, Lord, are you serious? Yeah. Here I am chasing you all over the globe. Like, we lived in Belize for 2 months. We've been on 5 mission trips a year. It's like, no, it's your hometown. And I thought, okay, Lord. But what's kind of funny about being on the Dyer and Crockett line is that I've got people calling me from both locations. We've probably had at least 10 kids needing a place that there's not a place there for you. Like, we had a CASA worker call us from Crockett County and talk about, man, I've got all these boys. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm like, and that's when I feel the sting of there's nothing there yet.
Yeah.
There's nothing there yet. And I'm like, Lord, I'm sorry it's not done faster, I know, but now things are really heating up and we're making connections. And so I think one of the things that you said was, don't deny that feeling. Like, if the Lord's telling you to do something, you feel, you may not even know what it is, just start to pray about it.
That's right.
Like, Lord, my heart, something in my heart clicked when they're talking about this. How do you want me to get involved? Because we don't want to twist anybody's wrist or to get involved on a foot that they didn't want to be in, if that makes sense. Like, if your goal is to drive by and pray every day and that's what you give, I love it. If your goal is, hey, I'm going to swing a hammer one day there, we love it. Yeah. So don't limit yourself, but do pursue the Lord in, okay, I felt this, and how can I respond in obedience?
Yeah. What's a way for people that want to get in touch with you or to find some more information about Coach's Place online? Where would they go to do that?
Okay, so this is so funny because Coach's Place is possessive, so it has an apostrophe S, but we're www.coach S, no apostrophe, because you can't do that on the internet, but it's coachsplace.org.
Okay.
And so we have a really great functioning website. And they can find us there. They can find us on Facebook. Okay. And that's a good place. We post a lot of funny pictures. Usually it's like the last time we posted pictures, my son and his cousin were like laying on the wood that we were putting up. Like
helping out.
Yeah. They were holding down the fort,
that's
as you
right.
say.
There you go.
But that's a great way to connect.
So with all of this, is there anything else that you want to just share with our church? Anything that God's laying on your heart?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, when you were saying that, I had this, like, a prayer walk or something like that, where I don't know if that would be something you guys would be interested in. Yeah. Times are crazy right now with football season starting and things like that, but that's just something I had in my mind, that we could walk around the property, or that's just something that was in my mind. Yeah. And I'm not very articulate in how I speak, but in my heart I thought, man, you feel that and you want to be involved, this would be a great way to get a taste of it, where you could be there. Yeah. The one thing that I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want my hand out all the time. Like, my dad did not raise me that way. Yeah. I've mowed yards that had 3 wheels on them before. And if you've never done that and pushed it, it's a pretty wobbly cut. And then your dad's behind you, critiquing every move. And so the thought process is, we want people to help. We want, people to contribute, do all that. But in turn, we're like, what are we going to do for ourselves? And so we thought, if everybody raised their own garden, had a big garden, well, number one, we could eat it. That's going to be great. But then 2, we thought about having a roadside stand where each one of our parents could take a day and sell on 412. I mean, this is the greatest location to sell produce. Oh, yeah. And so they could come in, you could buy tomatoes, you could do whatever. Yeah. But in turn, that's a way to support our ministry. You can buy toilet paper, light bulbs. I mean, many people have paid bills through tomatoes and squash and okra over the years, and we thought that would be a way to be self-sufficient. Just one of the ways. Because this is what I always say about Coach's Place. It's better to never start than to have to shut down on it. You could link up with solar energy and you could pay for it at the cost of your at your electric bill. And then 8 years it's paid for, but they last for 25.
Yeah.
So that's something we're looking into, because then we don't have electric bill.
Right.
So every step we take is a way to be less of a burden. But by doing that, we can still raise money. But you know what it means? We build another home faster.
Right.
The more efficient we are, the more kids we can help quicker.
Yep.
And that was the whole goal behind Coach's Place. While we're doing it the way we're doing it, I said, Lord, there has got to be a more cost-effective, efficient way to help kids.
Yeah.
And this is where we
That's
landed.
good.
And we want to get the word out in Crockett County, because I can't tell you how many people have driven by there and they're like, well, I don't know what that is. And you know, for some of you, you're like quick and like, oh, I'll just Facebook it or Google it or whatever, and that sends you in the right location. But for some people, we just drive by and we miss it, and that's okay. You said, I would love to be able to get the word out, and this is a way to do that. So this is not just an AFCC conversation. This is something that we would love for you to share and just put this out there for the community to know what is in our wheelhouse, what is in our line of sight, and the vision that you have, and the vision that God's laid on your heart is not a vision for, okay, in 1 year, this is where I'd like to be. I hear in 20 years, in 25 years, and that's a vision that we want to be a part of when it comes to kingdom stuff, because that's long term. That's that generational, impact that we have, and that's what we want to be a part of as Christians. That's our mission. That's our calling, and that's what God tells us to do through Jesus and through all the apostles and through all the Old Testament things. So that's beautiful. We love it, and it's been a pleasure to get to know Trey and his family. His wife is amazing. I know this because his first Christmas present to her was a Craig jig. So she's
That's right.
You know she's a good girl if you give her a power tool.
And you're still married.
Yeah, and we're still married. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, it was like what she wanted. So we just got a chance to sit around, and I got a chance to meet with your son, and you're hearing random noises in the background. We're actually in my home, hence the Cubs and the Cowboys, the paraphernalia.
That's a curse. Yeah.
Oh,
That's more of a disease, is what it's considered.
I'm going to edit this part.
We need to redecorate this room.
I purposely put Jay under Troy Aikman over there so he would, just feel the honor of the presence.
We need a Drew Brees poster.
Now we're getting back on track that way.
Yeah.
I will make a last plug. This is, and I just thought about it, one of the most simple ways to be involved. Like our Facebook page. You would be amazed.
Yeah.
Like and share our post.
Mm-hmm.
You would be amazed. We had over X amount of thousand views on a 3-minute video. There's a 3-minute video on our website, 3-minute video on our Facebook that doesn't take any of your time, but if you watch it and you share it, then it's a tremendous impact. It doesn't cost you any money.
Yeah.
And it costs you maybe 3 minutes and 30 seconds of your time.
Kentucky. That's happening
Right in Crockett?
right here
Yeah,
in Crockett County, y'all. And that's the part that excites me is instead of just like, oh, that's cool, let's like and share, let's plug in, and that's why we're sitting here. Let's not just say, well, that's great, you go with God. Let's go together with God. So if God's laying something on our heart, please let Jay and I know, and I will come alongside you, because I'm just kind of waiting on God just to open up that first door of opportunity. And maybe that door was to stop by and learn how to drive a Bobcat. But,
right.
That wasn't that day. But in a serious note, if something's laying on your heart, like I really want to plug in there, please let us know so we can come alongside you. And I don't know how to drive a Bobcat, but I can dig a hole. And there's just things that we can be a part of and just find out what is needed. Because I know there's a lot of ministry-minded people at AFCC. Just in the short time I've been a part of that church, I just see people just wanting to pour in ministry. So my prayer is, and what I expect, the expectation that God's laid on my heart is that we put this out there. When you message me, my expectation was that God's just going to begin to move using AFCC to be a part of that ministry. So I'm excited about that, excited for you. We're praying for you, number one, and number two, we just know that God's going to answer those prayers. So.